Hello, I'm the Casual Collector, and tonight we're going to discuss this figure by Ujindou for Operation Eagle Claw. For those of you who saw my previous video on Eagle Claw, I am very interested in this subject. It's a remarkable mission. It didn't go well, but for me, it's the fact that this was kind of, to use a phrase, a historical estuary of kind of showing the gear off from the 1970s and the Vietnam era, and kind of morphing into what we would see in the 80s and the 90s for Special Forces operators. It's very interesting to see all the stuff that's kind of come out on how equipment was used, and to see those black jackets finally making an appearance after all these years. I was very excited when this figure was announced, especially because they used much of the same source material I had. In hand, I would rate this about an 85 out of 100. And we're going to kind of get into that. They got a lot of stuff right. They got some stuff weirdly wrong, and some stuff that I'm going to kind of chalk up as design choices. And we'll kind of take a look at those things and why they might have made some of the decisions that they made. I will also state that a couple of American collectors got together, and the Delta Force operator who was featured in the Silent Warrior videos actually is going to be getting one of these things. His initial thoughts were that he was very happy to see that this was done, but the jacket got some stuff wrong from what he actually used, and didn't come off a grease gun. There was some stuff that was missing, and we're kind of getting a package together for him of some of these missing parts. And we'll kind of talk about that, and we'll talk about what they got right and what they got wrong here. So, to start with, he's got the black jacket. He's got a converted survival vest. He's got a demo bag for a satchel charge. MP5. He's got the watch cap. Beautiful set of BCGs. Typically the Army issue glasses from that era, and frankly, even into the 2010s, they weren't much improved. They were a little stylistically better, but not much improved from back then. Beautiful worn out jeans with the dye. And they're utterly gorgeous jungle boots. These jungle boots are phenomenal. I love the work they did on these. He's also got a web belt with a mix of LC2 pouches and some, in the case, this World War II pistol pouch, which actually was something that was regularly used during this era by Special Forces. Some of you might knock it and say that you wouldn't be issued one of these tan ones, but I do know that was occasionally used in addition to the OD. He also came with a couple extras. This pen light, which I thought they did a lot better job than I did when I did my custom one. I also love the fact that they got the carabiners right, which is something that most manufacturers who do this era don't actually get. If you notice, there's no sliding locking clip. It's just a... that is actually correct for the era, as opposed to what you'll usually see, the more modern ones with the lock, which is what Ace did with theirs. So to see this on these pieces has been phenomenal for me. I've actually been buying these up in bulk whenever I get the chance. So stuff that I'll highlight that they got right, because we'll start here on a positive note. They did a great job on the jacket. It's a lot cleaner than what I was expecting. They did a phenomenal job on the stitch work on the inside, which I'm not going to take this apart to show, but the pouches, everything on the inside of it is very well arranged. They did a very good job on the exterior with the special kind of flag flap there. The Velcro to me, works a lot better than the DID examples like what I've got here. They did a really great job on it. I love the assault vest, which is a converted pilot survival vest. The mags all fit very well. They did a great job arranging it. And that MP5 is probably the, pull the hand down here so you can see it. It's probably the best example I've ever seen of this early style of handguard. Is much cleaner, much better than the earlier DML example. This is a beautiful, gorgeous piece. Absolutely love it. For the pouches, great Alice clips. The lettering is all very good. Materials they used were very solid, I think. The Alice clips I actually probably rate up there with the late model Ace ones. They're very clean in their molding. I like the shape of them. I don't think they're going to snag on clothing nearly as badly as for example, the DAM ones. Likewise, love the boots. Love the jeans. Very good. Leather work on the holster was actually quite nice. They actually did a very good job. It's not visible from here, but the stitching in the back was actually very well done. Very clean. The LC2 web gear, the webbing itself is very clean as well. It's just, there's no other way to say it. It's solid work. Likewise, I also enjoy that they included extras for the buttons. There's not much to say except this is a very solid figure. They did their homework on this. It's very good. So why do I rate it 85 out of 100? Well, a couple of things. For starters, if we take a look here, a lot of these U.S. jackets did not come with flag pouches, and we have a complaint out with one of our dealers for this. I know they exist because the Chinese have them, which I find very funny, but they don't have them in the U.S. Likewise, the material on this, well, very clean. I was not entirely fond of the material versus, say, DID. I feel like that they should have gone with a different type of cotton for this. It just feels too smooth. Additionally, if you notice with the tones on this, the actual jackets were just green jackets that were dyed black. That's what I did for these, and they went with pure black. It's a stylistic choice, I think, but I don't really agree with it. I think that they could have done much better by choosing a lighter shade, maybe kind of an almost washed out or a grayish shade, or just weathering somehow to kind of get that look right. Pouches on the inside. So with Phil's jacket, this is an accurate representation of what Phil Hansen wore on his. You're going to see that compared to the stock example, the pistol pouches are not going to be mounted in the same direction. Theirs are straight up 90 degrees. He wore them kind of at a slant. They did not get the webbing for the rope on the inside of it, the backing for the pouches. They didn't get the extra pouches that were sewn in, which you can see the seam here, or the fact that he had a canteen pouch that was strapped to the back that was, dyed. Also did not get the necklace for the PVS-5. That one kind of was surprising to me that they didn't include PVS-5s with this. Those were very ubiquitous with the mission, but I suppose that they kind of ran out of room, ran out of time, so to speak. Likewise, this is what the flag would look like if it was displayed up here. So they missed a lot of stuff on the inside of the jacket, had some kind of questionable arrangement decisions, which I kind of put up to stylistic differences. Other things. I actually couldn't get the holster to close properly on the figure example here, but they also kind of screwed up the holster a bit. So with the actual holster, you can kind of see this a little bit here. Let's see if we can tilt that a little bit. You can see that they kind of went with this example where they kind of threaded the thigh thing through the bottom of it to wrap it around the leg, the thigh. The actual examples, what they did is they suspended them with paracord, so they hung down low, and they threaded the thigh strap through the back, which this is what this looks like on here, which, like I said, they did a phenomenal job stitching this thing, which is why I'm kind of baffled as for this, design choice here. If I had to guess, they were trying to achieve the look of having this sort of thigh strap while simultaneously suspending it from the belt. I think that it would have been a better idea to have included the belt strap separately like this, with length of paracord, and just give the option of suspending it or having it down to the belt. That would have been a lot better, and it would have been more accurate. As it is, you can probably just snip that out and suspend it from there, which is good. And if you want to dye it, you just hit it with some leather dye and it'll work fine. Other issues. MP5. So, as I said, this is phenomenal. This is a lot better than the Dragon example that I modded out here. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't do some modifications to this, like with the light here or the grip. But I also get that because this is frankly going to be seen more, and we did see unmodified examples in use by the operators. This is much simpler to do than to make a monstrosity like this thing. Would have been even nicer to have kind of recycled their molds. So this is a ZY example, but they do have a very, very nice example of the grease gun that would have been more accurate for this. They favored the grease gun for the assaulters for the performance of the suppressor, and I think they were worried about the penetration with the walls when they were storming the embassy compound, which is why they went with the 45. It wouldn't penetrate as deeply. Other issues. They this is you can see it on the box here. They did the U.S. markings for the LC2 gear, but they did not include it, strangely enough, for the World War II era pistol pouch. I don't know why they didn't do that, but it was kind of a weird omission. The only other issue I really took with the figure as a whole, aside from all this, was this. If you notice, this watch cap actually looks very nice. That took a lot of effort to fold it into that shape. For whatever reason, they didn't cut it the right way. This is, pull up an example here. This is kind of what I would have expected, where you've got the ends and then you just kind of roll it up. They didn't quite do that. They did that kind of inside out almost. So folding it into a shape where it's got a very clean rim like this, and you're not seeing, for example, frayed ends from the cut, was very, very difficult. I don't know why they made that decision. I suppose it might have been stylistic, but it was very, very strange. So overall, great kit. They have a lot of kit in this. There's a couple of ways you can rig this guy. You can rig him with the vest like I've got here. You can just rig him with the jacket and stuff it full of the magazines. He doesn't have actually enough magazines for the full jacket, but he does have enough for the exterior here. So I'll forgive him. A lot of folks, a lot of manufacturers include less. But overall, this figure, it works for me. They took a complex subject, which there's not really a lot of documentation. They did their homework on a lot of it, and it shows. A lot of the stuff that I've got as complaints is nitpicking. Having the color of the jacket or different materials, the magazines. it just, the figure works. They did a great job. There's no other really way to say it. They did a solid job. It's got a lot of gear. It's a great piece. If you've got an interest in this era or this particular mission, I do recommend it. You can pick up a lot of stuff like the PVS 5s that were done by 21st Century Toys. A lot of folks, you can pick those up pretty easily. If you want to make your own necklace, you just get a little bit of webbing and you just kind of stitch it on the collar there. And if you do want to do more extensive modifications of the jacket, I do recommend Ujindou Wood for tailoring. He does a great job if you're US based. One other thing before I go here is I did get a laugh out of this. I know they used some original documents for this. If you look at a careful look at the documentation for this, it's included in this figure. You're going to see it's got the top secret markings crossed out. This is a declassified document from the mission. There's a translation guide and whatnot, and they didn't actually fix this up to say top secret or whatnot. They just took the declassified example and they just retained the crossed out markings to indicate it was declassified. They also got a little map here too of Tehran. It's like I said, it's a solid piece. There's not much else to say. It's a good figure. If you got an interest in the era, I do recommend it. So please feel free to leave any questions or comments in the section. Please feel free to give me any questions or remarks in the comments, and I'm very happy to answer them the best I can. Thank you, and have a great night.